a Bachelor of Psychology student, and I'm also one of the peer facilitators, which is very exciting. So I'm just going to, before we get started today, we'll just quickly do an acknowledgement of country and also do a little bit of Zoom etiquette. So just bear with me while I get my slides up. Alrighty, we are almost good to go. When my screen loads. Alrighty, there we are. So I just want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the Macquarie University land, the Wadawurrung clan of the Darug Nations, whose cultures and customs had nurtured and continue to nurture this land since the dream time. We'd like to pay our respect to elders, past, present, and future. So just let you all know, this session will be recorded. So if you prefer to have your cameras off, that is totally understandable, but you are more than welcome to keep your cameras on. If you'd like to say something, feel free to either unmute your microphone or use the raise your hand function or the chat function in Zoom. We will also be using another platform throughout this session called Slido, where you'll be able to ask anonymous questions. So it's a little bit less scary than the Zoom chat. And yeah, if you could keep your microphones on mute when you're not talking, that would be much appreciated. To just give you an idea of what the session will include today, so we've just finished the introduction, go through with a little bit of an icebreaker activity, then we'll have time for a video, then we'll quickly talk about what the current workforce looks like and what the future of the workforce looks like. We'll have a time to do a little bit of a panel, ask some questions, and also do another interactive activity, and then we can conclude. So we'll just get started with the activity. So please, everyone, get involved, get out your phone, scan the QR code, and you'll be prompted to put in the answer to the question, when you were a child, what did you want to be when you grew up? So I'm just going to do that as well. If you don't have a QR scanner on your phone, or you didn't bring your phone with you today, you can just jump on to slido.com and type in the little code just there. Ooh, lots of people wanted to be a teacher. That's kind of cool. I actually wanted to be when I first realized what professions were, I actually wanted to be a part-time doctor and a part-time postman. But I think that was more about me only knowing those two professions, which was part of the reason why I picked them. But I think further on, as I kind of became a little bit older, I decided that I wanted to be a hairdresser. So yeah, hairdresser is me. And I think it's also interesting to ask this question because it's kind of cool to see what kind of things children were interested in being. But I have a feeling that some of these questions here, some of these answers here don't quite correlate to what we're looking at doing at the moment. But thank you all for participating. It's super useful. I think you can see 7 of you are participating, which is great. I feel like that's everyone. Alrighty. So we'll just have a video now, and I'll just get Jake to share his screen because my internet is not the best.
Experience, the teacher of all things. It's what makes you, you. And it's at the heart of every Macquarie University degree. It means you can combine virtual and on-campus learning and personalise your degree. It means courses co-created by industry leaders and degrees with inbuilt internships. When you're powered by our collective, you get the experience you need to get ahead. That's you to the power of us, Macquarie University.
So as you can see at Macquarie, there's so many opportunities, so many experiences, and Macquarie's here to help you to discover your experiences and help you to grow as a person. No workforce that we have now will always be the same, and the workforce will be continuously changing now and in the future. So I'm going to pass on to Sarah just to give us a quick overview of what the current workforce versus what the future workforce is going to be after COVID.
Thanks for that, Jake. And I really love that video. It's really the ones that we've seen so far. Well, not me personally, but the university. So I'm just going to talk about quickly what does the workforce look like now? So obviously we know with COVID, that the workforce looks slightly different to what it used to look like. So obviously we can see an acceleration of digitization, more opportunities to work remotely, automation of tasks, and really changes in workforce sizes, whether that be increase, decrease, permanent, or temporary. So that's very interesting to know. And now the interesting thing here is no one could have predicted this. No one could have planned for this. So it brings up a really important question as to what does the workforce look like in the future? What could it look like? So I really like this meme that I made. So Guru here is preparing for his future job, and he decides to spend all of his time studying at university to get the best marks possible. But once he's graduated and starts applying for jobs, the job no longer exists. So I think the takeaway message here is try not to be like Guru. If you had developed your transferable skills and become a T-shaped graduate, you'd actually be able to future-proof yourself to kind of protect yourself from these kinds of things that are happening. And so that kind of also brings up an important point that it's as the workforce changes, it's important to adapt and make sure that your knowledge and development are at the forefront to give you the best chance at a successful career, no matter what your passions and interests are. So we thought it would be kind of cool to see if you could guess whether these jobs will increase in demand or decrease in demand in the future. So we're just going to do another Slido activity now, but don't worry, all of your answers are anonymous, like the last one, so you should be just fine. Now, before we get started, I'll just give you a quick example. So one of the most common jobs that I'm sure you already know that's increasing in demand is actually artificial intelligence. So artificial intelligence is everything kind of related to making technology smarter and more intuitive. So knowing that, what do you think about this job? So jump on your phones again. If you've got the website link still open, you'll just be able to go on through the website. If not, you can scan the QR code again and it will take you back to the same page. So what do you guys think? We've got 1 response, 2 responses, 4. I think we're waiting for a few more. Alrighty, I think that's everyone. So yeah, everyone was great and they have the correct answer as well. The demand for automation specialists is actually going to increase. So yeah, good job, everyone. Now, what about data entry clerks? Do we think they're going to increase or decrease in demand? Decrease is currently winning. Well, it looks like everyone in the audience is super smart today. You are all correct. So look at you go. Good on you. Now, one more. Hopefully, this will be a tricky one, but not sure. Why is it important to stay ahead of a changing workforce? Is it to be job ready? Is it to be able to adapt? Or maybe is it not the most important thing? Or are you not sure? But I'm sure everyone here, super smart. I'm sure everyone will be able to get the right answer. So I'll give you a few more seconds. Alrighty, I might call it there. Congratulations, you're all correct. We had a little bit of a trick question here since there were 2 right answers, but yep, you all got it, which is amazing. I can't trick any of you. So I'll just pass over back to Jake now, who will be able to introduce our panelists.
Thanks, Sarah. So as we've been talking about, the workforce is continuously changing. So you might be asking yourself, so how am I meant to study for a job now that I'm going to need in a future workforce? So today we've got 4 panelists from Macquarie University, from students, alumni, and staff members to help answer some really important questions and show some of the opportunities that Macquarie has. So we have Natalia and Alicia, who are student employment officers. We have Ainsley, who is the incubator manager, and we have Luna, who is an MQ alumni, as she has just graduated from a Bachelor of Law and Psychology. So to get us started, we're going to be asking our first question to Ainsley. So Ainsley, can you tell us something or 2 even about something that's interesting about the incubator?
Hey everyone, it's great to be here. All right, some interesting facts about the incubator. It's one of the most beautiful buildings on campus. In fact, it's won several architectural awards for its design and sustainable features. So I really recommend you guys get up and come see us. It's a beautiful wooden building. You wouldn't miss it, but it can be a little bit intimidating. But here's a personalized invitation from me to you to press that big green button and watch that big door open, and then walk on in and say hello to everyone that's in there. The other interesting fact is that we currently got 35 startups working from the space at the moment. And as students, you get the opportunity to work with them, if you like, through PACE or internships that our startups offer to students.
Amazing. Thanks, Ainsley. And I forgot to mention, just to all the audience, if you have any questions throughout, please don't hesitate, just jump in. There's not many of us today. So if you have a question, feel free to just unmute yourself and ask away, or you can ask them anonymously through Slido, which is on your phone, or you can also post it in the Zoom chat. So don't feel afraid to do that if you have any questions that we're not answering. But until we have some questions, we'll move on with the next question, Ainsley. Can you tell us how the incubator can help you develop your skills, regardless if you're a business student or, say, a science student?
So innovation and actually the tools of entrepreneurship are for everyone. I think that there's a misconception that entrepreneurship is owned by business students and that you've got to be a business student if you want to be an entrepreneur, but that's absolutely incorrect. And really, we are a faculty neutral space, and we welcome students from all different faculties and all different degrees and all different skill sets to come together and join us in our programming that we offer uniquely to students to really develop your soft skills in the areas of creativity, analytical thinking, complex problem solving, design thinking, presentation, all the things that you basically need to know if you're going to succeed out in the workforce. So you'll get all that rich discipline knowledge from your degree program, be it psychology or law. And we are here to really help foster those soft skills that are absolutely critical and that employers need and want. And through doing our programs, you'll have really great examples when you come to your job interview, where you're asked to give an example of a time that you worked collaboratively in a team and solved a problem. Our programs really help students articulate that and impress employers.
Awesome, thanks, Ainsley. Ainsley, you sort of touched on it, but Macquarie's all about a T-shaped graduate, and we've got a few panelists a bit later on who's going to help discuss the importance of doing all these sort of things, like what the incubator has to offer. Another question for you, Ainsley, is what student programs does the incubator offer for students? I know there's a lot, so if you just would like to mention just a few.
Sure. This year we offered a design thinking program, a social impact pre-accelerator program, which is basically students through all the steps they need to bring an idea to better the world to life. Not to life as in to market, but to a minimum viable product, or in our world, it's called an MVP. So we've done that. We've done pitch programs where we really teach students how to present and how to articulate and how to influence their audience. And that was followed up by a pitch competition where $16,000 worth of prize money was up for grabs, and that was donated by our student representative committee. But we do different things all the time. It's never same. And opportunities come our way through various different bodies, and we definitely like to take up as many as we can and offer students real unique experience in innovation. We've partnered with the GLP program to do an innovation day. I'm actually now working from the Sydney Startup Hub. If anyone's interested in innovation, then you should pop on into the Sydney Startup Hub, which is just above Wynyard State. And there's a nice co-working space here. And then on the levels above are all the other incubators and accelerators that are not part of university universities. So we do a whole lot. One other thing I'll mention is that had COVID not hit, we would have been sending students overseas as we've done in the past. We're really lucky to benefit from philanthropic donations from partners who are really passionate about seeing students with the skills of innovation. We would have been sending students to Tel Aviv in Israel. We've sent students to National University of Singapore before. We've sent students to Silicon Valley. So let's hope that in 2021, coronavirus stabilizes a bit and we can all open our borders and start traveling again.
Awesome, thank you. Looks like we have a question, yeah. How often does the incubator run, and is it alongside your studies?
So good question. Any incubator program that we run is extracurricular, which means that it doesn't count towards credit points for your degree. It's over and above that. So our incubator runs all year, but you have to, if you're interested in our programs, I encourage you to like us on Facebook and LinkedIn and sign up to our newsletter, because the next round of student programs for 2021 will be advertised through those sources, and you can fill in an application form and join us. I can't advise you of anything right now, but before Christmas, we will have planned what we're offering to students in the first half of next year. And I look forward to sharing that with everyone. So sign up to the newsletter and stay in touch.
Awesome, thanks, Kingsley. Just one more question for you. You're talking about all these events and all these opportunities that the incubator offer. Would you just touch on, because they do sound expensive, but they're really not. So would you just touch on that and some of the other benefits you can get, so like the AHEGs?
Sure. So we've been, as I said, we're really lucky to benefit from philanthropic donations. Now, these are never guaranteed, but the programs that we've done for students to date have been free of charge. But in return, we also ask students to dedicate, and commit 100% to this program, because they're really high quality, and we hate to see dropouts, because that position would have been offered to another eager student. So that's one thing. The other thing that you benefit from being part of the incubator is the chance to really meet other students from other disciplines, other faculties. We really bring students together in teams, and you get to work with people with different skill sets, different strengths, different weaknesses, and that's all part of being innovative, because you're probably not going to, solve the world's greatest problem on your own. You're going to need a lot of people with a lot of different strengths, and that's what we try to foster in our students if they're doing any incubator programs. You also get it acknowledged, any successful completion of an incubator program acknowledged on your AHEG statement, which is attached to your transcript when you graduate university. And for those that we are talking to today, graduation probably feels like a long way away, but it'll go surprisingly fast. So we're also giving out badges, electronic digital badges that you can post all over your LinkedIn or Facebook pages and share to the world that you have done our programs.
Amazing. Thank you, Ainsley. We'll now leave it at that for the incubator, and we'll move on to Luna, who is alumni, who's going to help talk to us about PACE and GLP. So Luna, can you just tell us what PACE, or professional and community engagement, is, and how is it similar to work experience?
Yep, no problem. Hi, can everyone hear me okay?
Yep.
Great. So I'm Luna. I just recently graduated from law and psychology. I'm looking, just as a background, hopefully doing a thesis unit next year in law. But for me, professional and community engagement is one of the compulsory units that all undergraduate students have to take as part of their degree. It's unlimited, so you can do as many PACE units as you would like. For me, I've kind of gone above and beyond and done 3 units over the course of my 5 years. So because I do a double degree of psychology and law, I had to do 1 PACE unit for psychology and at least 1 PACE unit for law, and I went on to do 2 PACE units. And essentially what it is it's an integrated unit, so you just do it as you would a normal unit at university, but it goes beyond just the classroom, tutors, tutorials, lectures, things like that. There's also a component of work experience. Now, the work experience can be domestic or it can be international, and you can do it before the actual semester of undertaking the PACE unit. So for me, for example, pre-COVID, I went to Beijing and did an international PACE work placement with a company called Delsk, and essentially what I did was I did the work experience before the actual unit in the semester running. And so during the semester, I didn't have to, go ahead and go to Beijing and then come back and do my tutorials and lectures. I just did it all in one go beforehand, and then continued on with just the academic side of things during the semester. And you don't have to do that. You can also do it domestically as well. And I've done that as well. And I've done the work experience alongside the academic side of things during the semester. So essentially what it is you just do your unit just as usual, but it's an added component of work experience there as well.
Awesome, amazing. So now your next question is, how does PACE develop you to be more job ready? Because you've now just graduated and you've already got a job. So how do you think PACE has helped you with that?
Oh, yes. So my current work placement, I honestly don't think I would have gotten without PACE. So when I first started with law and psychology, I was super focused on the academics and doing very well, getting good marks, and didn't really pay attention to getting work experience that might be related to my area of law that I'm interested, or the area of psychology that I'm interested in. So by doing PACE, it's a good way to actually help me step out of my comfort zone and get some work experience before I graduate. And again, that could look really good on your resume, because again, the sad reality is it's very hard sometimes to get jobs, and whether that's, a global pandemic or just in general with, an increased amount of well-educated people, the job opportunities are a lot lower that you would see. But with PACE, actually, what I've come to realize is that there's a lot of organizations and law firms and companies, whatever you're looking for, that are actually seeking for people but don't outwardly advertise that on websites. So the jobs that you see on Seek and Indeed are all great and well, but there's also 80% of jobs that aren't advertised on those websites, and people don't know about that. They just kind of go ahead and just look at Seek and think that that's all that there is outside. But really, there's heaps of organizations that if you just send an email and just say, hey, look, I'm looking for work experience. The university is, this is the PACE unit that I'm doing at university. I'd really love to work here and just see how that goes. A lot of organizations are happy to take you on. And that's really how I got this job, is by just emailing the principal solicitor saying, hey, look, I'm really interested in your work here. I would really love to do this as part of my PACE unit at university. Do you have space for me to come in and do 6 months here? And he did, and he kept me on. So that's how I have my job at the moment. So can't say enough about how good PACE is.
That's pretty incredible. Thanks, Luna. Now, can you explain how PACE gives students some more transferable skills? Like how is PACE designed to help develop them?
Yeah, that's a really good question, because I actually see a lot of students come up to me and say, oh, I spent 6 months doing a placement at a psychology firm, and I'm not even, doing psychology after I graduate, or not looking to do psychology after I graduate. So what's the point? I just wasted 6 months. And the answer to that is you're very wrong, and you're thinking about it the wrong way. So for example, I have come to realize after my Beijing placement for psychology that I don't want to pursue psychology. I don't want to go into organizational psychology. Great area, but just not interested in it. And but looking back on it, I've learned so much from that placement, not just, you know, learning Mandarin and talking to people who don't speak English very well, but it's also the fact that you learn other skills such as reflective writing, how you can problem solve a bit better, working on teamwork, and how to work with people that you don't usually get to interact with or might have some cross-cultural boundaries. Things like that you don't usually learn from just reading a textbook or going to a tutorial. Those skills that everyone was saying that's so important in the employment sector, you learn from just doing those PACE units. So definitely transferable, and you're not wasting your time at all.
Thanks. So as I was saying about how, you know, you're doing PACE, you're getting heaps of transferable skills, but I also know that you got involved in a lot more at university other than just PACE. I know you did a few societies, I know you did volleyball club, and I know you also did GLP. So I was wondering if you could just mention how you think all these different things you did at school and uni and how you got involved has made you more desirable for employers.
Yeah. For sure. So I'd just like to pinpoint a study that people have done in 2014, and they basically what they did was they got a whole bunch of students from different areas of the work industry to see what they're desiring in a graduate, a newly graduated university student. And what I found was a lot of the selection criteria aren't usually, you know, how well you do at university. It's more things like interpersonal communication skills, it's cultural alignment and values, and emotional intelligence and reasoning and problem solving skills. Those are what people who are recruiters are looking for. And the best way to help develop those communication skills and all those soft skills that everyone is talking about is to get involved. And the university is the best way that you can, you know, get involved, because there's so many societies, there's unlimited opportunities that you can do. All you have to do is seek for them and want to participate in them, and that's really all that's required. And this is not just for law. This is, you know, government defense jobs, there's health defense, health jobs, construction, mining, accounting, finance. It spans all across the sector, not just for law.
Thanks, Lena. Just one more question. We sort of touched on GLP, or the Global Leadership Program. I know you did it, so I was wondering if you could just explain to the audience sort of what it is and some of the opportunities you did from this.
Yeah, perfect. So Global Leadership Program, honestly, best project, best kind of program that you could do at Macquarie. The Global Leadership Program, essentially what it is there's two components. There's the experiential component, and there's also the colloquium. And the colloquium is more workshop type based topics that you go in, and there's a professional there talking to you about different issues that you might currently be facing in the world, or it's more of it's global kind of issues that are currently happening in the world. And the experiential part is more just things like participating in a society, being part of an executive team at the university, such as, you know, the Macquarie Exchange Society or things like that. And a huge part of that is also exchange. So I did 2 short-term exchange programs, one in Norway and one in America. And those were done in between the semesters. And I could get points for the GLP by just doing those exchange programs. And again, it's not, you know, forcing you to do things, extracurricular activities that you don't want to do. It's more just helping you develop soft skills through programs that you might not think you want to do, but that may really benefit you.
Thanks, Lena. And I think what's also really good to remember is that the Global Leadership Program, it's done alongside your degree, so it's extracurricular. So if you're doing like Luna, a 5-year degree, you'll have all 5 years to complete your degree. Or if you're like me and you're doing it in 3, you'll have only 3 years to complete your degree. And most of the opportunities that the Global Leadership Program offers are completely free. And say you can't do one of the opportunities, you know, you've taken on too much, you can easily just step back from it and it won't affect your university side of study at all, which is really amazing.
And can I also just add to that is that universities also have like travel grants and scholarships and things like that that can also really help you to do things and obtain opportunities that you might otherwise not be able to get.
Yeah, definitely. There's so many opportunities. You just have to be able to look for them.
Yeah, I can definitely
thanks,
attest
Luna.
to that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can definitely attest to that. I've had so many amazing opportunities that have come past me literally just this past year. And I never would have been able to do it without the Global Leadership Program. You know, I've learned sign language. I've done stuff with the Macquarie Incubator. I've also done a course with the Sydney School of Entrepreneurship, you know, things I never would have found out about. You know, I found out those amazing opportunities and developed those amazing skills with the Global Leadership Program. So I can't celebrate it enough, honestly.
No, definitely. And you can get involved from day one, or if you feel like uni's a bit too much, you can just start it and then leave it for a little bit until you're ready to keep going, which is amazing. Thank you so much, Luna. We'll now move on to our final panelists for the day, which is Alicia and Natalia. So Natalia and Alicia, they're both from Student in Employment, and they're going to discuss what a T-shaped graduate is and how it can set you apart from other employees. They're also going to discuss what employers value and some of the key MQ partners. So I'll put it over to you two now.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you so much. I think Luna covered everything, but anyways, we're going to do our best. But it's amazing. It's amazing because it's actually, you're an example of what we're going to talk about, and you actually seeing the results from that. So thank you so much for that. That was really great to actually hear to you and everything. So I think with a T-shaped graduate is pretty much what Luna is. It's just being actually developing all these, you see in the horizontal line, all these different skills, different transferable skills, being part of these student societies, being part also the GLP program, being part of the PACE program, all of these actually will actually add to your skills. And this is what you want to, this is what employers actually looking for right now, to have actually the kind of professional that they actually understand everything. On the vertical line, this is pretty much your study, your specialization, your disciplinary training. This is why you come into uni and then you learn into your academic part, but then just adding to that, it's just pretty much the vertical line. So this is, I think I can't really explain more than Luna already did with, like, she's totally a T-shaped professional, T-shaped graduate. So what I'm going to move on is into the, like, actually how you actually differentiate yourself with that. So of course you better collaborate with others because you understand better different areas of the company. So when you go to a company, you understand how to interact with HR, with finance, with IT, because you have a big picture of the company. So we all know that the company is not only one area, and it doesn't matter if you're part of marketing, you still have to interact with everyone in the company. And that gives you actually more skills because you become more like problem solving skills and being really creative with your solutions. So you're always thinking outside the box because you have more areas to cover, and when your brain actually using more, and how you connecting all your skills actually you can show when your solutions are really creative. And then of course you become more attractive to employers because they seeing you, they seeing a lot of potential in you when they seeing your resume. They're seeing like all these different skills that you have developed. And many times, and probably that happened before, and probably at the beginning of your career, that you were really focusing on academic life and being like really thinking our employers just want to see this and want to see that you've been only in one area, one industry, just developing one type of skills, because that was actually, it used to be their own mindset that you need to be like many years in the same industry, you can't really move around, and that's the best you are. So now it's a little bit different. Now employers actually, they're looking for someone that actually understands better the company, that they know a little bit of many different skills. And that's what actually the importance of building transferable skills. Employers are actually looking for potential. They're looking for how they could actually develop even better what you are or who you are. So for first jobs, for recent grads, or even for career changes, if you try something you don't like, you're still gaining those transferable skills. You're still actually adding more to your knowledge and to actually how you react to things in life. So some of some examples on transferable skills, you have organizational skills like time management, attention to detail. You gain that from those jobs that you maybe think your retail job or hospitality job is not really adding much to you, but you're gaining a lot from those jobs. You're gaining customer service, you're gaining all this communication, teamwork, because that's what you actually developing in there. And many times we have these students actually, they say, I don't want to put my hospitality or retail job because I think it's nothing to do. But when you actually been in that cafe and you've been a barista, how many coffees were you making in what sort of time that actually giving you those skills? So start thinking about that. How actually, what are my transferable skills? Every time that you do something, think, what am I building here? So that start becoming a habit as well, to start trying new things and then just start developing more and more. You never know how you're going to use. And I think, Sarah, last time you have an excellent example of one skill that you developed when you were like 14 years old, and now you're actually using for your, so I don't know if you
Yeah. I'll share that story now. It's quite a funny story. So essentially when I was in year 7, I was 11 years old, and I, for some reason, decided I want to start making like editing videos and like filming and editing and things like that. So obviously I edited, filmed a few videos, kind of didn't really think much of it at the time. And now I'm actually, you know, like 8 years later, I'm actually using those skills that I learned when I was 11 to become in my job as a student blogger. So obviously as a blogger, I you know, make and edit my own videos and write my own content, make my own blogs. And yeah, so now I'm still, that's a great example of how, you know, something that I learned when I was 11 years old suddenly became relevant again when I was 19, going for or becoming a student blogger. So yeah, really fun story.
Yeah, that's really great. And this is some of the examples that you may not seem like that much value now, but just think about you just adding things to your, I mean, just trying to get a new skill, and that's all. You will see that how you can actually apply it later. Maybe someone, you're working and someone at your workplace, they actually need a video, and you say like, oh, actually I have that skill. That's great, I can help you. So that's really good, like you're getting noticed as well for that. So try to keep building that and try to make it a habit every month. Just try to think what else I can learn, and then just start working on that, making a plan. Yeah, so now I just, actually Alicia will continue.
Thanks, Nat. So yeah, look, I think a lot of it's already been covered in terms of what employers are looking for. And Nat talked about that Tshirt Graduate, so did Luna, which was an amazing example. I think she's definitely one of our star students for sure. But yeah, what do employers value? And we deal with a lot of different employers in our roles. So we have external partners coming to us and also internal. And what we actually hear from them really quite commonly is they want that all-rounder student. So apart from getting that academic experience of, you know, building on your degree and getting that technical skill, they want that sort of extra sort of, you know, interpersonal skills, the communication skills, which Nat talked about just before. So that all-rounder, you know, person is really, really something they look for from Macquarie graduates. And we love hearing that feedback from our employers. We always get one employer coming to us saying, I just love hiring Macquarie students because I just know they're going to be a great fit, they're going to have a great attitude, and you know, they're just going to get the work done. And you know, that's something we really, really value here at Macquarie, is being that all-rounder student. So something to really to think about and start, you know, branching out and seeing how you can develop those skills. Another thing I really want to talk about, which Nat touched on, is that work experience. So it's really important to start building that work experience in that retail hospitality space. So get your McDonald's jobs, your KFC, your bartender work, or your, you know, barista work, because, you know, it's so important to start building that as you start studying and start seeing where your skills lie. You know, start looking at interacting with customers, or, you know, finding sort of your feet in that space, because we do get a lot of employers coming to us saying they want to hire a student, but they want to make sure they've had a bit of retail experience or a bit of hospitality experience, because that's your foundation here. So get that experience, start sort of having a play around with the industries as well. And that also just kind of shines a little bit on your attitude and the cultural fit as well. I just want to say, look, yeah, attitude is so important. We've had even a situation with an employer where they've had 2 applicants, they've had the same degree, sort of similar work experience, and really what the deciding factor was their attitude and a bit of their personality. They sort of showed that motivation for the role And the employer came back to us and said, look, I'm going to take applicant B over applicant A because applicant B just really showed that enthusiasm, and they had that real attitude that they'll come in, they're happy to do whatever, and they just want to learn. And that really was what kind of made them get the role. So think about just how that can really play a part when you're going for job applications as well. And I guess, you know, in this climate, just want to touch on that, you know, resilience is really important, and, you know, being able to sort of be adaptable, which we all have to be. So you'll learn sort of those skills during your studies, but also hopefully through some work experience and your extracurricular work as well. So, sorry, the next thing I'll talk about is the employment opportunities that we've had. So we've had about 481 opportunities come through our program. So employers coming to us saying, we want to hire a student. And as you can see, they're kind of just a real snippet of some of the opportunities we've had. So if we have a look even just at the first one, Shine Week, they just wanted to hire Macquarie graduates, which was so exciting for us because they just felt they wanted to target Macquarie students. They felt they'd be a really good fit for this role. So that was awesome. And we're able to sort of secure some people in that role for their graduate position. But as you can see, Macquarie University is also amazing at having opportunities for our students. So doing your bloggers. So, you know, Sarah talked about doing some sort of blogger and content creation, which is amazing. And, you know, doing sort of different types of roles as well is so awesome for you to build your skill set. Start trying what you might like. You know, you might be a bit more on the creative side and doing that blogger, but then you might also want to sort of do even our COVID ambassadors, which we hired, where, you know, keeping our campus safe and being able to be compliant during this time. And that was really cool. We had about 60 students that we hired doing that role, which is awesome. So lots of different opportunities through Macquarie Student Employment that we'd love to get you part of once you sort of start finding your feet at Macquarie University. But yeah, you can see that we've placed about 354 students so for that year, and a lot of them have been on-campus roles. So getting a lot more external roles as well, but yeah, you can see a lot of internal. So our talent pool program, so Natalia and I manage the Macquarie Student Employment Program, and we look at doing a talent pool program where we help connect current students and recently graduated students with paid employment. We see this as such a valuable experience that you're building your skill set. So the talent pool does tend to focus on that professional role. So hopefully you've had a little bit of retail or hospitality experience. And then when you're looking for that next step, this is where the talent pool program can really, really help you with your career development. So we look at opportunities and we try to facilitate them for you guys. And not only that, we also try to build your confidence. So we'll work with you a little bit on how to write a proper resume, your cover letter, your interview skills. And it's a program where you'll hopefully meet other peers and interact with others, and meet Natalia and I, where we can help coach and guide you with this, because we know it's a very daunting experience. But hopefully when you get close to graduation and you're ready to step out into the world, you've had a bit of exposure here that, you know, it's not too daunting and that you've learned some really good foundational skills here. And so I think that's basically all we have. So yeah, if there's any other questions or if there's anything else you can add. Yeah.
I'll put you both on the spot with just a few questions. I know earlier on in your presentation, you know, you were talking about transferable skills, T-shaped learner, and, you know, getting some leadership experience, getting some communication experience. So trying to really be diverse. And like, some people might say, but, oh, I want to just work in IT. I don't need leadership skills. I don't want a job where I have to communicate with people, even though they might think that's the case. Did you just want to mention still why this is still so important to have this experience?
Yeah, it's always important because you don't really do it just because you will be there. You also do it because you know you will use it to interact with others. I mean, many times we say, yeah, I don't want to learn leadership skills because I don't want to be a leader. I don't want to be a manager. But still, it's really important because you will have to deal with managers and you will have to understand how to actually deal with those situations that will come with leadership. And I think that makes you more understandable on everything around you. And just, I feel that any skill is important, doesn't matter. And many times, as Alicia was mentioning before, because we have that case with those IT or accounting, or these really technical roles, when you say, I don't really need the soft skills, I won't really use it. Or even customer skills, you think, what a person like IT student actually will require a customer service skill. But you can't imagine how many jobs we say, like, you need to interact with people, with your team members, and not just for teamwork, you also have, they're your customers pretty much. Everyone you work in, they're actually your customers as well. So you really need to have that customer skills. And even with the hospitality and retail, many of them, we are a fast-paced environment here. And how you learn that from those roles, actually, you know how busy and how actually you work under pressure on those actually different roles. So they're actually, all the skills, you can't believe, they're all really important, depending, doesn't matter how you actually looking at the roles, they're always really important and add to your, what you do in your daily basis.
I was just going to add as well, a lot of job ads today, if you have a look for those technical roles, it's not just about the technical skill. They'll always ask you about interpersonal skills, that communication skill set. So you might see a selection criteria saying excellent written and communication skills. So that needs to be there. And as Nat said, you're interacting with different parts of the business. You have to deal with customers. So being just technically focused isn't going to cut it anymore in this kind of climate. You have to have both. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it did, definitely. Just another question. For students who are new, where is a good place to start in terms of developing themselves? Because there's so many opportunities, like sometimes it's hard to decide where to start.
I think for me personally, I think just get exposed to maybe a lot of the student societies and the extracurricular stuff that they offer. I think it's so important to build sort of your networks and just get familiar with university life. It can be really daunting. I think we kind of throw it at you like, get a job, do this, do this, do this. And I can imagine you're like, oh my God, where do I start? But being a first year, I think absorb uni life, get absorbed with the content, get understanding of your classmates and just kind of the degree and just get involved with extracurricular stuff on campus. If you can get a part-time job just to obviously earn some money, I think that's a great thing to start looking for some hospitality or retail jobs. But yeah, I think just to absorb the uni life, just get understanding of the extracurricular stuff first. I don't know, Nat, is there anything you'd recommend as a first?
I think the same. It's just a little bit getting used to, slowly. You don't need to rush, but of course, understanding how you, I think always for me, it's important to have a plan. How am I going to plan for the next year, or for the next 2 years? And I think the plan is always really important. So if you start planning what are the soft skills you want to acquire, what you want to do as an extracurricular, I think that's always really good, because if you don't have a plan, you don't know. Any way will take you to any different direction. So I feel that a plan is really important. So maybe just start thinking with all this information, just put in how am I going to start with this, and then just plan it from that. So
great, amazing, thank you. I'll thank you both there, and I'll pass now back to Sarah with the ending of today's presentation.
Alrighty, thanks for that. I'll just get up my screen again. So we've already done a bit of a question time. So if you do have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat or via Slido as well. So obviously we've talked a lot about today is what you can do when you start university. So it's really interesting to hear about, well, what kind of things can we start doing right now as a Macquarie University future student or a student? So you actually have access already to all of these different services, such as LinkedIn Learning, Coursera, and the Macquarie Incubator. So through LinkedIn Learning and Coursera, you can actually develop your skills in a little bit more depth, more specifically focusing at specific skills or things like that. With the Macquarie Incubator, you actually get access to the newsletter. So you can sign up to receive the newsletter already to find out about all the really cool things that they're doing. So if you'd like to access any of these resources, the easiest way to do so is to jump onto Island, where the MQ Essentials unit is. Scroll down to the Your Development at MQ section, and then follow the prompts to receive access for these ones. So I think that's all. Yes, I think the main takeaway here is if you'd like to get a head start, this is how you can do so. And we actually have time to do the activity, which is very exciting. So if you guys could just get your phones out again, we'll just do another activity, which is very exciting. This one will be a little bit of a quiz. So I'd recommend everyone getting involved. Jake, have we got everyone?
Yep, just about. I think go ahead with that. Yep, we got everyone now. There we go.
Perfect. Look at that. Alrighty, so first question. What is an important aspect of the university experience? Is it developing social networks, developing professional networks, or developing social and professional networks? What do we think? Alrighty, I hope everyone's got their answers in. So the correct answer is developing social and professional networks. Congratulations, everyone. Everyone got the correct answer. Alrighty. And we can see Jess is coming in first. Lilia, then Nathaniel, Leah.
Natalia.
Sorry, Natalia. I don't know why I'm so horrible at pronouncing names. I knew I was going to get that wrong. We've got Alicia and Elias as well. Alrighty, next question. What is the benefit to belonging to multiple communities at Macquarie? Is it future career opportunities, networks, having more friends, having a more enjoyable experience, or exposure to different perspectives?
And you can select multiple options for this one too.
Yes. Alrighty, and the answer is all of them. Well, everyone's correct. So again, congratulations. This one was a little bit more tricky because I guess you weren't expecting all of them to be correct. But yeah, definitely, there's a lot of things that you can get from becoming a part of the Macquarie University community and giving back to the community as well. There's so many amazing opportunities and things that you can develop. Jess is coming in first. Perfect. Go, Jess. So how can you start to build your community and find out more? So this is a great question. So do you reckon you need to join a million societies? Come to next week's session, talk to Student Connect, or add everyone on Facebook who has Macquarie University in their profile? It's an interesting one. What do we reckon? Woohoo! Come to next week's session. I mean, joining a million societies right now, that's definitely a good way to start, but absolutely I think the first step would have to be come to next week's session, which is your community at MQ. So yeah, definitely I can't wait to see you guys there. And of course, if you ever want to talk to Student Connect, can't advocate them enough. They are amazing. So looks like Natalia is come first. Congratulations. Unfortunately, we don't have a prize for you. It is via Zoom, but yeah, you get some bragging rights, which is really great. Alrighty, so we've just come to the conclusion of today's session. Now, before we let you go, we've just got some exciting things we need to share with you. So obviously today you've attended the interactive session, and we're assuming you've had a look at the MQ Essentials unit via iLearn. Now on the 15th of December, which is pretty soon, in 5 days to be exact, you'll actually be able to enroll in units via eStudent. And then once you've done that, you'll be able to choose your timetable or do your class registration, which is the official term, via eStudent as well. And then during orientation week, you'll be able to, just before session starts, you'll be able to attend and find out a little bit more about everything, how to use everything, so that you're ready to go by week 1. Now, I've just got some memes to share for you.
Hey, Sarah, before you do that, there's just a really good question I thought I'd throw up now and you could answer it. Do you just enroll in semester 1 or both semesters for next year?
Good question. I believe it is only session 1 enrollments on the 15th of December, but see if eStudent will let you enroll in session 2. I have a feeling it might, but you definitely won't be able to register for your classes until well after the session 1 has commenced. So keep that in mind. Maybe it's a question you guys should ask Student Connect.
Yeah.
I think Lilia also might have a good answer.
Well, I hope so, Jacob. No. So I think it's good to start with session 1 and just, set yourself for success with session 1, and then enrollment is always open after that. And you could just, if you are unsure, start with session 1, and then you can always ask Student Connect more questions and you can enroll in later in session 2 and so on. But usually what happens, you may enroll in everything now, but then you'll need to change anyway in semester 2 because you've changed your mind about what course or what unit selection you would like. So just for now, I guess it's good to focus on session 1, get that out of the way, and then you could ask more questions if you wish to enroll in later sessions. But I guess the behavior we usually see that students enroll at the beginning of every session because they always think, oh, maybe I've changed my mind, maybe I'm going to do a PACE unit, maybe I'm going to do this, or I found out something else. So yeah, just I guess my advice would be to go to session 1, but Student Connect are probably the experts there.
Yeah, absolutely. Student Connect can answer any questions that they have. You can contact them via Ask MQ, via the phone, or via live chat as well. So there's lots of different ways you can contact them, which isn't just the phone, which is super useful. And now I also just wanted to let you know that we will be doing a little bit of a feedback poll. So we'll launch the poll quickly. So if you guys could fill that out, we would much appreciate that. And yeah, once you filled out the poll, you are free to go. The only other thing we could talk about is Student Connect, but I think we've covered how amazing they are, how amazing I am.
But the numbers there as well on the screen and their website if anyone does want to take note of it for later on, or you can Google MQ and it'll come up. I've
actually just realized that to contact Student Connect via live chat, you'll actually need to go to the website students.mq.edu.au. The live chat on the mq.edu.au website will take you to future students. So I'm sure they can transfer you, but so you know. So yeah, we hope you enjoyed the session. You're very welcome. I hope you enjoyed it.